This is my 1981 C1500 pickup. In the last video, you guys saw that we got the engine bay all buttoned up. So now it is time to move on to the interior stuff, which, as you can see, is still very much apart. Now, a couple episodes ago, before this truck went away for storage, if you haven't seen the previous episodes from this build series, go ahead and pause the video now and go watch those first. I'll leave a link in the description down below, and then come back to us. And for those of you that did watch the previous episodes before this thing went into storage, you know that we had a battle with the cluster lighting on this truck. So much so that we pushed it off to the side and decided we were going to deal with it later. Well, it's later, so let's dive into it. As you guys can see, we were trying to go with some LED backlighting for this dash, and the old technology in this thing was just not happy with it. So I went out and got myself a pack of some regular halogen bulbs, and if this doesn't work, I'm starting a GoFundMe for a Haltech dash. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this cluster yanked back out, hopefully for the last time. All right, cluster's out. Let's go ahead and swap these bulbs out. All right, moment of truth, everybody. Before we go and button this thing up, let's make sure that this all works. So let's go ahead and hit the ignition. That bulb works. Let's go for maybe signals first. That works. That works. Let's turn on our lights. All right, we have everything but one. Just kidding. Look at that. Give this a couple good hits. Now my dimmer switch is all messed up. The spring that's inside that changes the amperage to all these bulbs is all messed up. So the dimmage doesn't really work very good. It's kind of on or off. But at least we have all of our backlighting. So we're gonna call that a win. I guess these things, just like the bulbs that they were designed to use, and that is it. So now that we know that that is good, we can go ahead and get everything on this cluster as well as this dash panel all buttoned up. So I was just going through my box of interior stuff that's gotta go back in, and I wanted to clean a couple of these things up, especially this plastic piece for the instrument panel stuff. And unfortunately, when I went to go wipe this off with some chemicals, it had a pretty bad reaction with the plastic. So I have basically ruined this piece using some grease and wax remover. Now, I'm no scientist, but this is the first time I've ever had a reaction like this happen with grease and wax remover, period. And unfortunately, that means we have to either figure out how to fix this one, or the replacements are relatively cheap online, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Just get a brand new one because this thing wasn't in the greatest of shape to begin with. So let's just get a brand new one, start from scratch. We just obviously have to wait for it to show up before we can put everything back together. So I think what the plan is for the time being is we'll connect up what we can to the back of that cluster, but all of this stuff is going to have to stay apart. We'll just throw the rest of the gauges in the cluster in the meantime so we have some instrumentation. That way if we get to it, we can still take this thing for its first drive and be able to monitor everything on the cluster. So let's go ahead and start installing some of our other gauges into the cluster. This one we obviously got to hook up our speedometer cable to, so we'll do that one last. This one should simply just insert into the cluster. I think that's as far as we're gonna go with the interior until we get that plastic piece in. Side note, I did get another headlight switch from a buddy down the road. And as you can see, everything, including the dimming, is working now. Even the interior light switch. So now all that's left to do is go back under the hood. We're gonna shoot base timing, get everything kind of dialed in there, and then it's time to drive this thing, baby. All right, guys, so I have my timing light all set up. Got the pickup hooked up to #1 cylinder, and we're gonna look down in here, and I'm gonna aim for probably about 12 degrees before top dead center with obviously the Vacuum Advance unhooked. It's gonna be kind of difficult to show on camera, so I'll probably just get it to where it needs to be off camera, because obviously the flashes of the spark aren't gonna pick up very well on a camera that's only recording at 60 FPS. So let's set base timing. Like I said, 12 degrees before top dead center is where I'm gonna aim for, lock it down, and then we can mess around with the carburetor settings after that. We were actually pretty close to begin with. When I first hit the timing light, we were about 8 degrees before top dead center. So I didn't really have to adjust it too much. Let's go ahead and get the carburetor stuff all dialed in. Basically what I'm gonna do is hook up a vacuum gauge to the carburetor and then adjust the idle fuel mixture until we get basically maximum vacuum. Is kind of how I've always done it. But before we do that, I want to get this thing off of the high idle cam, make sure that choke is fully open, and then do the idle adjustment. With this cam, we're probably going to be setting it around 600-ish, 550, 600 RPM at an idle, and then we can dial in the idle mixture and then reset the idle one more time. So without further ado, let's put the air cleaner back on this carburetor, slap some plates on this thing, and take her for its maiden voyage. All right, guys. Hopefully, this is a pretty good angle for you guys, but I think it's officially time for this thing's first drive. Should probably adjust my mirrors here. Man, oh man, has it ever been a minute since I've driven this thing. And yes, we still haven't replaced that messed up serpentine belt, so it's still chirping away a little bit. But that's not gonna stop us. We're just going around the block anyways to make sure this thing feels decent and still shifts through all the gears. Try and keep it close to home just in case that belt does decide that it's gonna F off on us. Looks like our speedo's working. That's a good sign. I mean, it should be. That cable is fully new, so well, it still goes into all the gears, so that's good. Try and keep an eye on all of our stuff here. I hope the wind noise isn't super bad for you guys, but I can't express to you guys how good it feels to finally drive this thing again. I think this thing's been off the road for 2 summers now, because originally this thing was just my summer vehicle. And even then, I wasn't driving it very often because I would basically only use it for truck stuff. As far as drivability goes, I wouldn't say it feels too different above idle with the cam in it. I'm gonna kind of ease it in. I don't want to freaking give this thing the beans on the first test drive, just in case it does decide let's throw a belt, and then we're hoofing it. I don't want to be walking, but I'm sure once we can kind of get on it, this thing's gonna move pretty good. Telling you, that thing though, she be chopping at idle. If you could see me right now, you'd see that I have a grin ear to ear. Oh yeah, I was just big toe on the throttle, and I can tell that this thing's got some more oomph to her now. Do have a problem. It looks like my tachometer has given up the ghost. Or maybe not given up the ghost, but it's not working correctly. Now, we did get an Amazon special distributor complete package, so I would not be surprised if something is wrong on that front. Luckily, although not the greatest ears in the world, I'm pretty good at hearing what RPM we're at, just based off the sound of the engine. So I'm not super concerned about that at the minute. I'm more concerned about good oil pressure, making sure our belt stays on and we're still charging. Obviously making sure that our speedo cable is working and that we're not overheating, which I did put a lower temperature thermostat in this thing, so that's about where I'd expect it to be, especially while driving. I'm telling you guys, it's that last 10% that always gets you. Everybody hoots and haws about that last 10%, but man, that is 100% real. on throttle though, I'll tell you that much. All right, let's head back. Give everything a once over. Make sure everything's happy, other than the belt and the tack, obviously. Seems like the tack works below 1500 RPM. So I don't know if the signal's just not happy or what. Man, listen to that idle though. Hell yeah. And our charging voltage is way better than it was before with the high output alternator at idle. Well guys, we have a bit of a problem. I was going to pull this thing back in to give it a once over, and I noticed as I was opening these doors, looks like a couple grippies here. One maybe from the front, but the majority.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Well guys, it looks like we got a pretty major oil leak going on with this thing, which I'm pretty bummed about because that was the entire reason that I took this engine out and resealed it from the get-go. Now, we can cross our fingers that this was a fluke. I did just check the engine oil level. It is a little bit above the maximum mark on the dipstick, but I'm pretty confident that we may have a problem with not only the front main seal, but the big one is the rear main seal. Now, luckily, this is a two-piece rear main seal design, and this being a C10 two-wheel drive, it's really not that big of a deal to roll a rear main seal into this thing. It just sucks that we're gonna have to wait on parts again. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it now. All we gotta do is just keep pushing forward, because at the end of the day, all of this hard work, blood, sweat, tears, I'm not gonna let it all be for nothing. Overall though, as far as the drivability goes, the first drive went awesome on this truck. It sounds awesome. It drives really good. We got a couple minor bugs to work out, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the end result. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and hit that like button for me. It'll definitely cheer me up, at least in the meantime, while we're waiting on some parts to show up. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click on that bell if you want to see any future episodes of this build or any builds that we've done in the past. And as Jeremy Clarkson says, on that bombshell, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Oh, I'm an old man.